And welcome. This is the second episode in consecutive days of In a Pickle. Today we're going to talk about the Final Four games that we did not discuss yesterday, as well as a couple goofy stories that we found on the internet from this past week. So should be a pretty entertaining episode. So let's start off. First off, we got Arizona versus Xavier. Zach, what do you think?
I think Arizona takes care of this one handily. They're a great team, great shooting team. Xavier has a great defense that'll keep them in it for a while, is shooting very good in the tournament. But overall, I just think Arizona takes this game.
I think Arizona has been playing really well lately, and Gabe York has been playing especially well off the bench. He's been coming off the bench a lot for Arizona. He's provided a huge spark for them. Stanley Johnson is playing well. Tarzuski's playing well. McConnell's playing really well always has his limited turnovers. And I think everyone's picking Arizona. I'm on that train too, but I think Xavier has a chance at this, and I'll tell you two names why. Matt Stainbrook used to be an Uber driver. Now he's driving his team to the Elite Eight. He's playing really well. Big 7-foot guy in the middle for Xavier, plays really well. D. Davis, though, he shot the ball really well the other night, and he can really light it up. If he gets going, I think he can put up a lot of points for them. Both teams very good at defensive rebounding, one-and-done possessions. I think Arizona's more talented. They have that experience, though. I think that's eventually going to overcome Xavier. I think it'll be a close game for a while, but Arizona's going to end up pulling this one out, and they're going to win and advance to the Elite Eight.
I agree. And when you're watching the game, Matt Stainbrook is the guy who looks like he should be sitting at home playing video games because he is probably the most unathletic-looking basketball player, but definitely one of the better big men in the nation.
But he's very talented. His looks can be deceiving. So, Hunter Hilton, Arizona or Xavier?
Xavier.
Why?
Because neither one of you guys picked him. I don't even think I'll make him feel better.
The Musketeers. Man, Hunter coming with all these lower seeds pulling off against the upper seeds. If he filled out a bracket, maybe he would have still been perfect. All right, next game, Gonzaga versus UCLA. Zach, break it down.
Gonzaga, one of the best shooting teams in the nation. Great from outside, shot about 55% in their last game, and they've kept that up all season, one of the highest scoring teams in the nation. UCLA, there was a lot of scuffle as whether they should even made the tournament. I guess they've proven their point with making it to the Sweet 16 that they deserve to be there, but I think the lowest seed left in the tournament's run comes to an end on this.
Let me say, UCLA, I am impressed. I was bagging on them. I told them that they shouldn't even belong in the tournament. They beat SMU, and then who they beat in that second round? UAB, and then they came up, and now they're in the Sweet 16. Unfortunately for them, they're going to play a really good Gonzaga team that's going to beat them down pretty hard. This is why. Team ball is going to beat individual ball. Gonzaga passes the ball well. They shoot incredibly well, like you said. UCLA plays a lot of individual ball. I think the only way UCLA is going to win this one is if Looney, Alford, and Parker have really big games. They got to score a lot of points. I just think Gonzaga is better than them, and honestly, to put it bluntly, I think UCLA is probably the worst out of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16, and I just think UCLA is going to run away with this one. So, Hunter, what do you think? Gonzaga or UCLA? Are you going to pick probably what could be the biggest tournament upset?
No,
you're gonna take Gonzaga.
Yes.
Easy.
Now, where is Gonzaga?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
This guy knows it all.
I don't know. I don't know.
Spokane, Washington.
Spokane.
Knew it was there.
That's somewhere over the
I was
rainbow.
testing you.
They got a lot of rainbows over in Washington with all the rain that comes down.
The rain never stops.
It's true. Rainbow never comes out.
And those three balls, the rain never stops when they're making it rain with a 3-ball either. So next game we got Notre Dame versus Wichita State, Zach.
This is going to be a great game. Fred VanVleet is one of the best guards in the nation. Led his team for years. I think he's going to have a big game, but I think that Notre Dame's going to close this one out. Going to be a very close game, but Notre Dame all season has closed out those close games. And just look for Jerian Grant to have a big game in this one.
I think Wichita State's very tenacious, and they're really going to need this one in this game because I think Notre Dame has all capabilities to make a lot of big runs in this game because they know how to put points up on the scoreboard. The second best shooting team, only behind Gonzaga, actually. And Wichita State, they are pretty good offensively, but they have their struggles at times. They don't put points up on the board, but they're really good at coming back, and they're never die team. And they always play angry, the philosophy of Greg Marshall. Coming up, that huge win against Kansas, which was huge because Kansas would never schedule them in the first place. So for them to go out and get that win, I thought that was really big for them. But I think Notre Dame's just going to play more physical. I think Grant, Connaughton, and Jackson are going to make too many plays down the stretch that are just going to propel Notre Dame to the Elite Eight with a possible matchup with maybe Kentucky or if West Virginia can pull off that upset. So, Hunter Hilton, Notre Dame or Wichita State?
Wichita State.
Why is that? Are they going to pull off a shocker? You like my pun there?
You need to stop.
Okay. Next.
What Notre Dame is going to do, too. They're going to stop.
They're going to stop? They're not going anymore?
They're going to stop, drop.
And roll.
They're going to roll right out of the tournament.
So they're going to be caught on fire shooting a 3-ball?
No. They're going to be...
Going to the lane? Zach August going to have a big game?
Probably.
He plays for Notre Dame, you know that, right?
I mean, he could have a big game and they'd still lose.
He could. I guess that's true. You got me there.
I mean, LeBron James has a big game all the time, and they're doing pretty awful.
Pretty bad, you're right. They're probably one of the best
I like
teams
the logic
in
here.
This guy knows everything, I'm telling you, man. Michigan State versus Oklahoma, Zach.
I'm going to have to take Michigan State in this one. I'm sold on them. They're playing some of their best basketball. They closed out the season, went into their conference tournament, started playing in this tournament, played some of the better ball. I actually had Virginia in my bracket in the finals, so screwed me up there. Not very happy with them, but Michigan State's on fire right now. Can't discount Tom Izzo.
You can't discount Tom Izzo.
Wait 1 minute. He just said Michigan State's on fire. Do we need somebody to put that out or something? I mean, the school's burning down.
They'll take care of it.
Okay.
We're too far away.
I think I had actually Virginia winning in my bracket too, but I also did have Michigan State as one of my dark horses, and I really think if they're playing at the top of their game, they can beat anybody, and I honestly think that they're going to be the team that reaches the Final Four, which ultimately means I have them beating Oklahoma. I think this is going to be a very defensive, low-scoring game. Michigan State's been playing really well. They've been turning it up. The thing that Oklahoma might kill them in this game is that they shoot a lot of jump shots, and Michigan State's going to turn that other way around, and they're going to go straight to the basket for some transition fast break points. On top of that, I think Michigan State's very attacking towards the rim. Oklahoma can be very, what do I want to say here, passive towards the rim as far as blocking over there. I think Michigan State's going to win. It's going to be a close one. I think Oklahoma's defense does keep them in this, but I think Michigan State pulls it off and advances to the Elite Eight in this one. So that's all we have for the last final Sweet
Hunter hasn't made his
16
pick.
Oh my Lord, I forgot about that.
Spoiler alert.
Who's winning?
Michigan State. Michigan State's going to do normal Michigan State. They're going to make it to the Final Four, and they're going to lose like they always do.
He's picking Sparty. All right. Next up on the show, we're going to have a couple goofy stories for you. We're going to talk about Wisconsin and the Stenographers. Is Barry Switzer stuck in Ukraine? Find out. Next on the show, we're going to talk about some goofy stories. One goofy story that we saw this past week was about Wisconsin and the Stenographer. I don't know if you heard about it, but at Wisconsin's news conference, after they were getting ready to go underway, one of the reporters asked Nigel Hayes about his recent three-point shooting and how it's increased, and Nigel Hayes immediately starts off giving a couple words out, and I'll read those off to you. I quote, "Cattywampus, onomatopoeia, and anti-de-establishmentarianism," and then continues to laugh. And so after he answers the reporter's question, the reporter comes back and he asks him, well, why did you start off with those words? And well, Nigel Hayes simply responds, well, there's a stenographer in the back and she does amazing work, and I wanted to give her a couple words that she doesn't normally hear on a daily basis. So we thought that was quite the goofy story that came on in news. You don't normally see that with news press conferences usually being so mundane. It's usually really slow. The word student athletes used a lot. It's just never that exciting, but for something new to happen, something entertaining to actually happen in a news conference, thought it was pretty goofy. Actually, after the news conference was over, Nigel Hayes, Sam Decker, and Frank Kaminsky all joined Bo Ryan, the coach of Wisconsin's basketball team, and went up to the stenographer and went out and typed their names and typed a lot of funny words into the stenographer and had a good time. So it's good to see students actually being students instead of just athletes. So I'm going to be rejoining with Zach here in a second. He's going to tell you about another goofy story that we heard this past week. So, Zach, recent news, was Barry Switzer stuck in Ukraine?
He was never in Ukraine, actually. He's always been in the good United States of America. Apparently a scam email got sent to one of the employees at Yahoo that Barry Switzer was running a football camp in Ukraine and got held up at gunpoint and robbed and needed a few extra dollars. Lucky for us, though, that guy was smart enough to scuff that one out.
I'm glad he posted it to social media. It was actually really funny for me to read the other day. It was very interesting that all these scam emails, and to get as creative as putting Barry Switzer on there, I thought that was a pretty funny one. So that's all for the show this time on In a Pickle. We'll catch you next week when we're down to the Final Four of NCAA March Madness. Catch you next time.